You'll go off and sometimes create narratives that don't even fit. So it's kind of like creating puzzle pieces along the way just to make it fit. And that puzzle can turn out to be a disaster, a complete disaster, because there's no focus, or there's no finished result, or there's no intention behind the bigger picture. So creating puzzles, you can be a puzzle piece creator, but what are you creating? And why are you making everything fit into this puzzle? Because guess what? Everything doesn't belong there. Everything doesn't belong or deserve to be in your puzzle picture that you created. So sometimes we can get caught up in like, oh, everything is a puzzle piece to my puzzle. Everything is meant for me to see and dive deeper into. And this is where we kind of go into white rabbit syndrome, or we go into like just the constant curiosity. You know, it's funny because today is Wednesday, and Wednesday is Mercury, right? So I was even looking at Mercury, and I said, Mercury gets you in fucking trouble. You know why? And good trouble sometimes, because we need that. That's the whole point of having the spirit inside of us. Having the spirit inside of us makes us walk the walk. It is like what we need to move forward. So it's curiosity. It's the quest for knowledge. It's wanting to know why, right? That's like that Mercury spirit. And so when I was looking into the word or the name Mercury, I see myrrh and I see curie. And myrrh means light, and curie, I am basically connecting that to curious. So it's a curious light, or it's curiosity of the light. So Mercury is just constantly curious of any fucking light that is flashed. And sometimes you're being played with. So it's like a cat. And it's funny because my cat's name is Mercury. I have a black cat named Mercury. And anything flashed, I swear, it'd be like, whatever, the flashlight. And it's just a cat being a cat, but when the cat sees the light on the wall, and it sees it moving around and bouncing around, it's going to it's curious about it. It's going to jump up somewhere, knock something down just to figure out what this thing is, right? So it's the curiosity of the cat. That's what Mercury is. I'm surprised that it's representative as like the bird or the ibis or the baboon or whatever, but that I see a cat, with just the curiosity within itself. But everybody has that curious spirit. Every being, every species of whatever is curious about something. But sometimes curiosity can get you too far into something that is very, very hard to get out of, and it'll take you down that Alice journey. And the thing about that is the movie ends, but then it starts again. So this is where, all the curiosity was fun and good. But are you ready to do that again in the same way? Or do you want to go and see if it ends up ending the same? Or are you going to allow whatever curious experience that was, wherever it led you, are you going to allow this time to go by and say, okay, what did I learn from my curious trip? Because I am not Curious George. I am not Mercurius, all right? In this sense of, driving myself off somewhere into wilderness that, there's no intention behind being there. Where am I going? What am I doing? Why am I doing this? Why am I following a light that is playing? So what do? You go in that space and you create that. You create your experience. You curate your experience. And this is why I say this is more so into the living of living less algorithmic, because that's what that is. It's the white rabbit syndrome is that it is basically algorithmic. It's just like, okay, because that happened, that means that this is going to happen. So therefore, and then you're creating a web. And there's a reason why it's called the website, or the World Wide Web, www, which also stands for Wild Wild West at the same time. So You're creating a web from these experiences that are driving you based upon curiosity alone. There's no substance to curiosity. Not if you're not taking it in and actually like taking the nourishment and the actual nourishment that comes with the journey. Just to be curious is, it's very surface based. And again, ain't nothing wrong with that. Whatever, we have a place for everything in every journey. But is that what you want? So this is about preference. Is that what you want? Do you want to constantly be that easy? Be that easy to string around? Throw a fucking string of yarn out there for Mercury to go chasing after, and before you know it, there's yarn all over with no purpose. It's just a mess. So that's what the web turns into. When the spider actually creates a web, it's actually intentional. There's a reason, there's a design, and there's connection. So that's a whole other level of creation. And that's what I'm talking about when it comes to coming off or journeying away from the curious path and getting more so into that wise path. But not allowing yourself to be so, and this is why I always say knowing and believing, they have to work together, because you can't getting so much so to a point of like knowing everything because you've been there. It just doesn't, it takes the fun out of everything. Knowing everything takes the fun out of everything. And so there has to be like this balance of curiosity, but like healthy curiosity with a point, and that's where the art comes in. That's where it takes like your level of skill with yourself to realize and recognize when it's time to follow Mr. White Rabbit, or the flashlight on the wall, or that yarn, or to just say, nah, like not today. Today I'm actually going to focus on something. I'm going to be intentional about something. I'm going to create something.